We're joined today by Tom Decoteau, who, as most of you know, was the first captain of the Melfort Mustangs back in 1988-89. Tom, thanks for joining us today. I wonder if you'd be willing to answer a few questions for us, such as how you ended up coming to Melfort.
I came to Melfort. I played in the Saskatchewan Junior League with Lloydminster for 3 years, and was undecided whether I was going to come back to my fourth year as a 20-year-old. And what happened in the meantime is Lloydminster decided to go in the Alberta League, and so all the Lloydminster-Lancer players, Melfort bought the Lloydminster franchise, so all the players had the option to either come back to Melfort or Lloydminster. I wanted to stay in the Saskatchewan League, so that's where I went, decided to end up going. Also, my father's from Melfort, so that also helped with the decision as well.
As most people know, the Mustangs played out of the main arena back in those days. Have you got any memories of playing in that building?
Yeah, the memories of the arena, the things that stick out were the fans were, even though we didn't have a great team, we filled the rink and they were very enthusiastic. There was the square boards and the chicken wire, and changing in a trailer. So we didn't have a whole lot, but it was and it was a tough year in terms of not winning a lot of games. We did feel that we were kind of the pioneers there, and I enjoyed my year there. I ended up getting a scholarship out of there, and as I said, the fans were great, and that old barn, people still didn't like coming and playing in that old barn with those square boards.
First year in the league, but any kind of rivalries that you guys had built up team-wise? With any teams?
It definitely, there was a rivalry right off the bat with Nipawin. And after Nipawin, I think it would probably be Flin Flon, just because of the way the fans are there. And there was also a rivalry with Humboldt. We seemed to have a lot of rumbles with Humboldt that first year. As I said, we came up on the losing end of most of those games because we were just a brand new franchise, and a lot of the guys that I played with actually ended up staying in Lloydminster and playing in the Alberta League. So we didn't have a lot of returning players, but we still, particularly against those teams that I mentioned, particularly Nipawin, we always seemed to have tough games with them. It would just seem to be ingrained. You just felt it with the first year that you played there that those two towns didn't like each other all that much.
You had a chance to move on from here, and where did you end up going from Melfort?
As I said earlier, I was unsure what I really wanted to do as a 20-year-old, and I missed out on an opportunity of getting a scholarship as a 19-year-old, which was a little bit disappointing. But one of the things that the first coach of that team was Mark Odnicon. He played down in Minnesota Duluth. And one of the things he says, he promised me that he would get me a scholarship somewhere. And also I got a job, which is nice, with Melody Motors, with the Madragas, which were a great group of guys. I think Ken Madraga was involved with the team at that time in the directorship level. And so that year, that was what kind of enticed me again also to come to Melfort, aside from the family roots. And Odnicon was true to his word, and he ended up sending out a lot of recruiting packages on my behalf, and I ended up getting a scholarship to a school in Erie, Pennsylvania, Mercyhurst College, where I did a 4-year history degree and played with the varsity team there, which was just a fantastic experience. So, which I would have missed out on if I hadn't have come back for that final year in Melfort.
After playing here in Melfort for only one season, getting a scholarship to Mercyhurst, and going on from there to U of S, what kind of advice would you have for anybody considering playing in the SJHL or in Melfort?
I think that just hockey gave me, and still does give me, so much enjoyment and fulfillment in my life. That irrespective of whether someone comes on, I mean that's kind of the icing on the cake. If you can get a scholarship, that's kind of the dream. I think for most of the players that are playing in the SJHL is to get a scholarship down to the U.S. or to Canadian college. But I think most guys are kind of focused on trying to get an NCAA scholarship. At least that's what it was when I played. But even if you don't get that far, just the camaraderie you made. I made so many friends. And you grow up your kids, and you kind of grow into men, I played 4 years, as I said, starting as a 17-year-old, and leaving home to Lloydminster and then finishing up in Melfort. You sure grow up in a hurry. I felt like an old man by the time I was 20, but that was actually a great thing because I had a lot more maturity going into university. And then, as I said, I went to the perfect school for me. It was Mercyhurst was a small liberal arts college where I took American history, which I really enjoyed, and ended up going on to law school after that. So it was a real springboard becoming not just an athlete, but a student athlete. And, I was treated very well down in the States. So, and Melfort had a big part in all of that. So my advice to guys are work hard. And I wasn't the best player ever on any of the teams I played on, but I always worked hard and was willing to sacrifice a little bit, and it paid off. And so it's well worth it. But as I said, even if you don't get that far, just even the fact of making it into the SJHL is a pretty special league, and you'll have friends for the rest of your life in doing so.
Lastly, before we let you go, I wonder if you could give us a little bit of an update on what you are doing now and whereabouts you're living.
As I mentioned, I went on to law school at University of Saskatchewan. I kind of came full circle back to Saskatoon, where I grew up, and ended up meeting my lovely wife, Jennifer Jameson, who lives in Vancouver, but was going to school, an out-of-province student at the U of S Law School, and we spent 1 year practicing law in Saskatoon, and then made our way out to Vancouver. So now you know who makes the decisions in the relationship. But we haven't regretted the move at all. We've really enjoyed it out here on the West Coast, although I do miss Saskatchewan. We were back there actually just last week for kind of a quasi-family reunion. We had a great time. We both love the prairies, but and from there I went and practiced law for a few more years, and then ended up going into a different walk of life. I'm actually an executive director of Jardine Lloyd Thompson, which is an insurance brokerage risk management firm, and I run the Vancouver branch. It's the Jardine Lloyd Thompson, or JLT as it's known, is about a company about 5,000 worldwide, and I am the branch manager, as I said, of the Vancouver office, which is about 80 people. So I have 80 people reporting to me, and it's been a wonderful ride. Sometimes I can't believe that I'm where I'm at, but as I said, if you work hard and are willing to make some sacrifices, which you learn, as I said, we're going back to junior days and then becoming a student athlete, that good things can happen.
Thanks for the interview, Tom, and we'll catch up to you again another time.
Hey, thanks a lot, Al. And if I am in Melfort, I'll definitely stop by. But I got to get running here. I'm actually got a hockey game tonight that I got to get to.
Okay.
Cheers.
Well, good luck at the game.
Cheers. Bye.